You know, this is my quick thoughts on MJF versus Mystico. I actually watched that match, and it was a good match. You know, it was a good match. Nothing that I'm gonna say that made this match 5 stars, but we've come a long way when we're seeing, you know, one of the top wrestlers. I mean, Mystico was rated the #1 top wrestler. I'm not sure what year, but I remember he was the hottest wrestler of all time. And this was in like the ruthless aggression era, you know, so he was doing the most. I mean, Mystico was like a major figure, you know, in the early, I'm gonna say late 2000s, early 2010s, you know, and he's still good to this day, you know. I mean, dude went to WWE as Sin Cara, but they fumbled that bag. I ain't gonna lie, they fumbled the hell out of that. That's why, you know, sometimes it's not better to just cross over, but MJF versus Mystico was great. I mean, MJF is now the #1 heel in Mexico. You know, all of Lucha Libre, you know, I mean, Mexico hates MJF now. If you don't know what happened, basically MJF beat Mystico very heelish. I mean, low blow into a roll-up pin. 1, 2, 3. And then the Hurt Business started attacking Mystico. And then MJF unmasked Mystico. Now, of course, he still hit his face, you know. But, I mean, that's the worst thing you can do to a luchador is take his mask off. Now, MJF has so much heat, and I'm so proud of CMLL and AEW doing this because, you know, you would never get this with WWE. Like, you would never, like, the way they set this up and the way they did it, you know, was perfect. Now, one thing with AEW, you know, I give WWE creative a lot of shit. AEW gets a lot of shit too. But with this match, you know, will we get a Mystico versus MJF hair versus mask match? You know, and I think we're gonna get it. If AEW does that, I mean, it's, you know, that'll tell you right there they're listening to the fans. Because if you go to that comment section, everyone's typing in hair versus mask, hair versus mask, hair versus mask. And you can actually do it. I mean, MJF is the ultimate heel in AEW, and he's the ultimate heel in Mexico now. I mean, MJF, you have to do it. You unmasked Mystico. You know, this isn't just a regular show where Rey Mysterio was just unmasked and, you know, it was just something that happened. You know, it wasn't like, oh, the NWO beat up Rey Mysterio, took his mask off. No. I'm not saying Mystico is more world renowned than Rey, but just in this sort of era right now, and what Mystico represents in Mexico, man, it's like, you know, if I just had to give something like a non-wrestling reference, you know, it would be like here in America, I'm trying to see who's the ultimate heel. in America right now. You know, I would say if Will Smith or something smacked Michael Jordan, which that might not be a good one. No, you know what would be a good one is if Will Smith maybe smacked Denzel Washington. You know, that's probably the equivalent. Or maybe, you know, I don't know, some rapper like 50 Cent smacking Michael Jackson or something. You know, someone that's an ultimate heel, like Kanye West might be an ultimate heel, and if he slapped Michael Jackson, you know, I don't think maybe this generation or some of the younger kids that watch AEW really know how significant MJF is right now, and the Hurt Business too, man. Like, and like I say, I don't watch AEW like that, but I do know what's going on in AEW, and just seeing, you know, Mistico get unmasked by MJF is wild, man. It is wild, man. MJ, I mean, I know Dominic was the ultimate heel. I know Dominic is the ultimate heel. Seems like it in WWE. People might say Seth Rollins, but man, Dominic heel run is great. It is really great, but right now what MJF just did, MJF might be the number one heel in wrestling right now for what he did to Mistico. That might be the number one heelish thing of 2025. Now, Sami Zayn might turn heel, but I don't think it's gonna. You can't top that. MJF unmasking Mistico in Mexico, like you cannot overdo that. Like, nothing is gonna overshadow that. I mean, John Cena ruining wrestling can't overshadow that. You know, some of y'all might need to do a little homework on Mistico. You know, go read his Wikipedia and see exactly how iconic this guy is. You know, go take a look at that. And you know, I don't think Undertaker tombstoning, you know, a 90-year-old woman on hard concrete is gonna get more heelish than what MJF did. But it was a good match. I recommend anyone to go watch that. It was a good match. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, you wish the good guy had his own faction to help, but you have the Hurt Business out there. You know, they just, you know, the Hurt Business is taking over, man. What can I say? Man, that was a good move. You know, I'm glad, you know, Mistico and MJF, you know, they agreed upon it. You know, I know MJF has a lot of respect for Mistico. You know, who in the wrestling business doesn't? You know, but this is gonna make up for a great match in the future. Hopefully it's Mask versus Hair. You know, but if it's just a normal match and Mistico could get his revenge and do something really embarrassing to him or something, we'll take that. But man, that was a greatest heel turn or greatest heelish thing that could happen in 2025 probably.